Today on Investigate TV Plus, a family searches for answers when their brother dies after months in police custody with no access to vital medications.
Right there, the system is entirely broken.
Plus, we show you the future of fighting cancer, how new technology helps patients fight the disease from the comfort of their own homes.
Then a good reason to write a love letter to yourself.
Dear John, I love myself because I'm nice and cool, I'm lovable.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
For one Virginia family, the bonds formed between brothers run deep through joy and sorrow, and in this story, through the deaths of mental illness. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. There are parts of this story that are difficult to see and hear, but it's one that illustrates the line between the system, the patient, and just how blurred that can become. First, we want to show you a picture of Alan Thibodeau and his three brothers in February of 2021. Less than 18 months later, in July 2022, his family says he starved to death in a jail cell.
It didn't look like him. The weight that he lost, up close and personal, when you're seeing all the marks and all the, the bones and the shallow eyes, this isn't our brother.
Before Alan died, a judge ordered his transfer to a mental health care facility, but he never made it.
Investigative reporter Meredith Anderson shows us how this all unfolded and reveals why no one was ever held accountable.
Another warning, some of the images and descriptions in this story are disturbing, so please take care when watching.
Alan Thibodeau loved music. As a drummer, he kept the beat for every band he was in.
Music was his life.
As the youngest of four boys, he was also the heartbeat in his band of brothers.
I just miss him being around. Think about him every day.
And you say your name is Alan? Thibodeau.
Valentine's Day 2022. Deputies in Bamberg, South Carolina arrested Alan after responding to a call about a burglary. He admitted he broke into a home on a cold night for a place to keep warm. He was hundreds of miles from home. His family back in Virginia filed a missing person report the day before. Hands behind his back. His life now in the hands of law enforcement. Deputies took him to the county detention center, where he would stay for the next 5 months.
Please don't judge us, y'all. We've been trying to deal with this man, but now he's not responding real well.
July 10th, 2022. Alan is unresponsive. The jail finally calls for help.
Just put the shackles on.
Alan is lying on the floor in his cell, naked and covered in his own feces.
1, 2, 3.
For the first time, his emaciated body comes into view of the camera. He doesn't move at all, even as deputies cover him up, even as they begin to roll him through the halls of the detention center. His feet are dragging, much like the process that brought him to this point.
Doesn't look nothing like he did that morning we got him.
Alan is dying. His organs are failing. The 51-year-old is essentially starving to death.
Looks like he hasn't ate since he's been here.
146 days after Alan's arrest, his condition was horrific. Documents show he never received any medication. None. Despite Alan's family telling the detention center back in February, he cannot go extended periods of time without his meds. In an email, just days after his arrest, his brother warns it's dangerous and potentially life-threatening if he doesn't take them. And it's not like his medications were a secret. April 13th, 2022. Doctors with the South Carolina Department of Mental Health decided Alan lacked the capacity to stand trial. At that court-ordered evaluation, doctors had this list of medication from his hospital in Virginia. Everything from antipsychotics to antidepressants to a mood stabilizer. The state had also requested info from the jail, but the staff said they had no records, only notes, which it appears no one provided.
And they said he's been like this all morning?
At the hospital, Alan is unable to speak or even sit up.
You have to be tough.
Yeah, because if he wakes up, I mean, he is going.
Well, I need to be able to get an IV, and it's kind of hard.
Still, deputies insist on keeping him restrained.
I just don't want him hurting you guys. That's.
I'm not worried about that. I don't want him dying.
Alan only lived for another 12 days. He died July 23rd.
Nothing excuses how he was treated. Nothing.
You're probably relieved to find out he had been found and arrested. I mean, this was great news. You thought he was potentially dead.
Yes, we did. And that's the thing I think people don't understand about this, is he had schizophrenia, okay? He was a grown man. He was 51 years old, okay? Legally, we had no authority. Nobody has authority over him. He can go wherever he wants.
But this time was different. Alan had a criminal charge to answer to, so they thought he wouldn't be able to sign himself out. He would have to get well.
They said he was fine.
Yes, that there's no mistaking that, okay?
In that April evaluation, the one where it was decided that Alan lacked the capacity to stand trial, doctors noted Alan's jumpsuit was ill-fitting and he had difficulty keeping his pants up. At 2 months into his 5-month stay at the jail, this appears to be the only documentation of his extreme weight loss. Even after he died, a lieutenant at the jail sent a letter to the coroner explaining how he never refused food and occasionally asked for more.
I mean, you can notice when someone loses 20 pounds. He lost almost 80 pounds and you didn't notice that?
So how did Alan's situation fly below the radar at the state level? It's because of something that happened when Alan was in the hospital. The solicitor dropped Alan's charges, and it's not likely out of sympathy for Alan dying in a hospital bed. If Alan is no longer facing charges, he's no longer the jail's responsibility. Not just for medical bills. When an inmate dies in custody, it automatically triggers a state investigation. But Alan was no longer an inmate, so the state would have no reason to look into what happened during that 146 days in custody.
How do they sleep at night? I hope they close their eyes and they see Alan every night. I hope for the rest of their lives. I hope they're haunted by what they did.
Alan was known for being talented on the drums, but his brothers say he wanted to start using his voice and become a singer.
Right, the system is entirely broken.
Now, his brothers will have to be his voice and a voice for other inmates and other families who might also be victims of a process, leaving those with mental illness dying for help.
No one was ever held accountable for Alan's death. No one. Doctors and nurses at the hospital reported concerns of neglect to the state, but investigators never found anything criminal. We couldn't find where anyone at the jail was either fired or even disciplined. There is a pending civil lawsuit filed by the family that alleges grossly negligent and reckless acts led to Alan's death at the Bamberg County Jail. In Augusta, Georgia, I'm Meredith Anderson.
Still ahead, take a swing at success, how you can cash in on your favorite baseball players.
I mean, it's crazy the money that certain cards will sell for.
Plus, it's a common diagnosis that presents individual challenges.
Can you imagine being sunburnt for 5 weeks?
The new remedy helping some patients with the painful side effects of breast cancer treatment.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes. Chances are you know someone affected by breast cancer.
It's the most common type of cancer worldwide, and in 2024 in the U.S. alone, doctors will diagnose an estimated 310,000 women with invasive breast cancer. When it comes to battling the disease, patients undergo intense treatments, often with painful side effects.
Reporter Heather Graff shows us how new technology and a little TLC can go a long way supporting people during their diagnosis and beyond.
Michelle Apple has always loved lifting weights, but the biggest test of her strength was a breast cancer diagnosis.
You go through anger, you go through denial, you go through, oh, I'm going to fight this, I'm going to beat this, and then you have your bad and good days.
Michelle says doctors misdiagnosed her when she found a lump under her armpit. But after her mother died from breast cancer, she returned to the doctor.
I ended up finding out that I was stage 3. I had 23 lymph nodes cancerous, mastectomy, had my ovaries removed, and then in addition to that, I had, months of radiation and chemo.
Michelle is one of an estimated 4 million women in the U.S. living with or beyond invasive breast cancer. It's the second deadliest cancer among women, which has doctors developing high-tech solutions like a wearable ultrasound.
It's a device that is connected to a bra that a patient can wear, and then there's an ultrasound transducer that's connected to the bra.
Developed by MIT, the tech allows the wearer to take ultrasound images of their breast in the comfort of their own home.
And then they can take another picture the next day or the next week, and then the software will compare the pictures.
Breast cancer surgeon Dr. John Bumberry says the device is for women who have a high risk of developing cancer.
And they're getting close follow-up as it is. And close follow-up usually means we see them every 6 months or so.
And his hospital is home to another treatment showing early promise, this time for its ability to treat the painful side effects of radiation.
Can you imagine being sunburnt for 5 weeks and then having it get worse for a week or two after the radiation's done, and it's still not completely resolved until about 4 to 6 weeks after the radiation?
Mercy Hospital in Springfield, Missouri is part of clinical trials treating radiation burns with a bandage called Mepitel. Typically used as a wound dressing, doctors say Mepitel is showing encouraging results among patients getting radiation.
So far, none of my patients who've gotten the Mepitel have had any skin breakdown.
Including Lynn Lee, who saw positive effects of her own.
They asked if I'd be interested. I said, absolutely. I mean, if it would potentially help any radiation effects, why not? And if being in the clinical trial would benefit other women, there's no downside. And plus, it doesn't hurt.
Back at the gym,
keep up the good work.
Michelle is now treating people battling breast cancer in a different way. In 2019, she started the Apple Warrior Breast Cancer Foundation.
We help pay for travel expenses and also medical bills that aren't covered through, obviously, insurance. And what we do is, as long as the funding is there, we help where we can help.
Her ultimate mission,
don't let it define you. Push forward.
Is to give her fellow breast cancer survivors hope to carry on.
Have your bad days, but understand you need to pick yourself out, brush yourself off, and that next day know that it's a new day. Don't let it define you, but let it inspire you to help others.
Doctors at Mercy Hospital say Mepitel is being tested in a clinical trial so it can be available to more patients. The goal to get it FDA approved to treat breast cancer radiation so insurance will cover the bandage. As for the wearable ultrasound, we're told it's undergoing clinical trials and is expected to be available in 4 to 5 years.
The fight to end breast cancer doesn't stop there. Researchers have spent decades working on a vaccine that can treat the disease and even prevent it. They say the results during clinical trials were promising.
Now is the time for cancer vaccines.
We reveal how the vaccine works and introduce you to one of the first patients to try it.
Did you have any hesitation in getting the vaccine to start the trial?
None. I was waiting for the time.
Watch the full story on InvestigateTV.com. Just search breast cancer vaccine. Still ahead, an inspiring message of self-love.
They get to learn that their voice matters.
How this community center transformed into a safe haven where kids are encouraged to grow.
Plus, baseball made a comeback in early 2024, why some fans are shelling out hundreds, even thousands of dollars for their favorite players. Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms.
Batter up. Baseball is back. MLB says in 2024, a typical spring season game saw its highest attendance since 2017. And national broadcast saw a 25% increase in viewership from the 2023 season. Home run for the league, players, and fans alike. As the sport grows, fans are finding new ways to invest in their favorite player.
Reporter Joshua Skinner takes us to the world's largest sports card shop.
The sports trading card market has exploded over the past several years, and a new store here in Atlanta is at the forefront of the card craze.
It's not your typical investment strategy.
Welcome to Cards HQ, the world's largest card shop.
But sports trading cards have exploded since the pandemic.
We opened up Cards HQ on February 1st.
Jeff Wilson started the Sports Card Investor YouTube page in 2019.
Nobody watched it, literally nobody, other than a couple of friends.
It quickly ballooned into more than 1 million followers across social media.
Is this your day job?
It is now.
Cards HQ not only streams card openings, but also sells them across the world.
Welcome to our Cards HQ card auction for today. Got the Brock Purdy card up there. Go ahead and get your bids in on that. We then got a Marquise Brown Max Impact card. I mean, it's crazy the money that certain cards will sell for.
However, the main market is not the wealthy, but kids like Harper Blair, whose family stopped in from Florida on the way to Tennessee.
My parents actually said, "Oh, we're not going to be able to go to Atlanta. We had to take a detour." I'm like, crap.
But you wanted to come here?
Yes, that was the reason I wanted to come to Atlanta.
Here, people can break cards on a 24-hour YouTube stream in front of an audience. Now, $13,000 for a Wayne Gretzky or $700 for a Ronald Acuna might seem like a bit much.
The sports card world has outperformed the S&P 500 index over the last 20 years.
So now could be a good time to invest in your favorite player.
I'm really bullish on this trend continuing.
Joshua Skinner.
$5? Really?
I need to go look in my attic because my wife stuffed my old baseball and football card collection up there. Looking at some of the prices there, I bet I can make a decent amount of money on that, huh?
It could be worth some money, and it's so good to see that kids are still interested in that. Just something from the past is in the present again.
In the present, I like it, yes. The MLB says more young adults are showing up to games during the 2024 preseason. It saw a 50% increase in game attendance among fans 18 to 34.
Still ahead, a lesson in self-love.
It's about the inner you that most people don't know and can't see.
How kids in an underserved neighborhood are overcoming the odds with positivity.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. They're free to download.
Famous actress Lucille Ball once said, quote, "You really have to love yourself to get anything in this world done."
The saying couldn't be more true for a group of teens in Washington, D.C.
Reporter Deborah Alfarone shows us the importance of self-love and how it can help a whole community.
Inside these four walls, in the heart of one of Washington, D.C.'s poorest neighborhoods, love is abundant.
Dear John, I love myself because I'm nice and cool, I'm lovable, I'm good at football, and I play games, and I'm a winner.
Why is teaching them self-love important?
I don't think that you can do anything for anybody else unless you love yourself and have a true understanding of who you are.
Josephine Mazik runs a nonprofit called FAN.
FAN stands for Fihankra, Akoma, and Tuaso. It means Safe Places Linked Hearts. A lot of people in our community, they don't have people affirming them, but we are here. We're going to affirm you. We're going to tell you how great and how amazing you are because you have to hear it in order to begin to believe it.
I'm brave, respectful, lovable.
What does it say?
Dear Jaden, be good and positive, be awesome and stay strong.
What's the best part about coming here?
Growth. When we started in 2005, it opened as just a safe haven for kids that were indirectly involved in the child welfare system.
Since then, they've grown, offering an after-school stop for stability, meals, and mentoring to hundreds of children, teaching self-love through affirmations, art, and storytelling.
Why is storytelling so important?
It is important because it's about you. It's about your vulnerabilities. It's about the inner you that most people don't know and can't see.
Auntie Oye is a professional storyteller. Today's exercise, sharing Valentine's Day love letters that children wrote to themselves.
That's what storytelling is, affirmations. By writing it, guess what you get to read? You get to read it, you internalize it.
I said what I love about myself is that I'm nice. And I like doing math.
I'm brave and will do anything, even if it's hard. It's not hard for me to make friends.
Here, they get to learn a strong sense of self. They get to learn that their voice matters.
And that they matter, as they are, highlighting what makes them unique. It could be a life-saving lesson.
I just want them to be confident human beings. Because when you build the self-esteem, nobody can make you sell drugs. When you have this self-esteem, they can't make you do all these negative things. Even if you don't have the parents, but you have you.
And self-love may be the greatest love of all.
My wife always tells our kids, if you don't love yourself, you really can't love anyone else.
Yeah, you have to have that self-confidence and be productive in life. And they're teaching those kids how to do that there.
Great lessons. All right, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate TV Plus, patient information exposed on blood samples scattered across a parking lot.
How could this have happened? I mean, you're breaking my HIPAA law.
We uncover a practice that some argue puts privacy and public health at risk.